I'd like to welcome you all here to our webinar today. We have Malcolm Gibbons with us today from Salon Business Coach to take us through our session. We're going to be asking you to raise your hands and ask some questions as we go through, so just check your control panel to see how you do that, and we'll go from there. Okay, up to you, Malcolm.
Thank you, Donna, and welcome to everyone that's joined us this evening from wherever you are in the country or the world. Welcome along, and also I'd like to say hi to those people that may be watching a replay of this webinar that's going to be available. So welcome to you guys along as well. Just before we get underway properly, can I get you to test that little raising of your hand? So on your control panel, probably on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see what looks like a hand. If you just click that, that will actually tell Donna that you are raising your hand. So Donna, are there people raising their hand?
I've got one or two.
Okay, so people are finding out how to do that. That's cool. So the next thing that I want you to do is that if you can see on your screens a picture of a salon with the red writing in front of it, the 3 big business building factors, etc., etc. If you can see that, just click on raise your hands, because Donna, you should have put their hands down by now.
Yeah, I have done that.
Cool.
Okay, so let's see.
Can people see my screen? Or just type yes into the question box if you can see my screen.
Okay, I've got a few hands.
Okay, so that means that people can see my screen.
Yep.
If you can't see my screen, just type it into the question box, but I'm sure that if some people can, all people can. So thanks for that. And Donna, if you just manage that if someone writes that they can't.
Sure, no worries.
Let's get into it. And as it says on the screen, I'm going to cover the 3 of the biggest biggest mistakes. We could class them as mistakes, but 3 of the biggest business building factors that all salon owners need to focus attention on to transform their salons. So if you're up for that, just type yep in the question box or put your hand up. Now I'm getting you to do this so that you get familiar with using those 2 little tools, because as the webinar goes, we go through the webinar, I'll be getting you to pop your hand up with different questions I ask and what have you. So we've got some more questions or more yeses and hands up, Donna?
We've certainly got some hands up and
cool bananas.
Some responses in the question panel, so yeah, people know how to do that.
Fantastic. Well, we're ready to rock and roll. Everyone's learned something new, or they've already knew it, so let's get going. Oh, actually, just one more thing before we go. Can you make sure that you've got your cell phone switched to silent or off or out of your distraction view, and get comfortably seated, pad and pen ready, glass of wine at the arm's reach, ready to take notes, because we're going to hit it reasonably hard and fast today. We've done one earlier this evening. We went a little longer than I should have, so I probably waffled a bit much, so I'm going to try and not do that for you now. Lots of info, and then a wee bit of time at the end for questions and answers. So I think now I'm definitely ready. You guys are ready, so let's get into it. Before we get into the real content, just a little bit about me. I've been involved for over 25 years in this wonderful industry of hairdressing and beauty therapy. I've worked across section of the industry, from working for suppliers and wholesalers through to owning my own successful salons. And today I'm helping salon owners reach the success that they want to reach through regularly coaching them, mentoring them, and either individually or as a peer group. I love the industry from the first week that I was involved with it, and I still love it 27 odd years later. My passion is helping people grow, and I love seeing them thrive. And I hope that you pick up on some of the passion that I have for the hairdressing industry tonight, because it still is a vibrant and exciting industry. So let me tell you about salon growth. And what I'm here to tell you to start with is that salon growth isn't going to happen by accident or any form of good luck. In fact, in any business, growth has come about by people working smarter and working on the things that actually change and influence the results that you get. So today, as I said, I'm going to share with you 3 of those business building factors, and I'm also going to show you how to use them in your salon to gain optimal performance. Now, the 3 factors aren't new, nor are they overly complicated. In fact, You all know about them, and to a lot of degree are probably very aware of them on a daily basis. So what I'm talking about are what I refer to as the 3 R's of success, and they're referrals, rebookings, and retention. Now, I know you've probably heard of these so many times, almost daily, from lots of different avenues, from reps, from your supply companies, from coaches like me, and probably on the internet. You may be getting a little tired of hearing about them, but what I want you to do is stick with it today, because I want to give you a slightly different perspective on it, and probably more so on how to use them to grow your business and get results, and consistent results. So the 3 key factors, and remember, I want you to think about the word that I just used, consistent results, and how you get consistent results is by being consistent in your actions. So let me explain that to you. Consistency builds trust, and clients frequent salons that they trust. That's just a fact. Also, respect and consistency go hand in hand. Clients will respect your suggestions when you're consistent with them. So along with respect, consistency breeds credibility. And a credible salon is a busy salon. And when you're credible in your clients' eyes, then you gain loyalty, and loyal clients mean they haven't got a wandering eye, or they get sucked into a competitor's promotional offer. So what you're looking for is a positive work environment, and that stems from reliable and rational behavior. And clients reward your reliability and rational behavior and positivity by becoming regular clients and referring clients. So I guess I want to cover some of the other benefits of being a consistent performer as well. Consistency allows for measurement. So until you've tried something new for a period of time and consistently, you can't measure whether it works or not. And with that, consistently creates accountability. You need to be asking your employees and your team to be accountable for their deliverables, for what their KPIs are and the goals that they've got, that you've set them and they've set. But coupled with that, they should expect the same in return from your leadership. And also, consistency establishes your reputation, it establishes your salon's reputation. Your business's growth requires a track record of success, and you can't really establish a track record if you're consistently shifting gears or trying new tactics. And like I said before, of course, consistency makes you relevant. Your team and your clients need a predictable flow of information from you. I see it far too often in salons, both small, medium and large salons. What they might do is adopt a marketing campaign or a new initiative only to end it before it actually gains traction. So they start something, it doesn't quite work, so they give up on it. And it's that sort of inconsistency that make the salon inconsistent. Let me give you an example. I had a situation where on my Facebook feed one day, an offer came up from the salon that my partner gets her nails done at, and they were offering, if you buy a $70 gift certificate, they'll make it out for $100. So pay $70, get a $100 voucher. I thought, well, that's a good deal. I'll buy that for Janet. I popped in as I was passing and asked the girl on reception for the voucher deal that they were promoting on Facebook. Well, she didn't know what I was talking about. So she went and asked the other girls in the salon. No one in the salon knew what I was talking about. The owner wasn't there for them and they couldn't get hold of her. So in the end, I had to spend ages scrolling through my Facebook feed to the particular promotion that they were doing to show the salon the promotion they were doing so I could buy it. They looked like they had egg on their face. They were highly embarrassed about the whole situation, and it really annoyed me because it took me ages to actually just pop in and buy a voucher that should have taken 2 or 3 minutes. So an interesting factor about that, with the boss or the owner not passing on that sort of relevant information to the team, was that now my partner doesn't go to that salon. And the reason why she doesn't is because she said they're too inconsistent with their service. One minute you're getting great service, the next minute you're treated like a number. There's no consistency in the business. So the question I've got for you is, are you being consistent in your salon, and consistent in a good way? So hopefully I've made it really clear to you that consistency is so important. And that is the overriding theme of the 3Rs. So let's look at the 3Rs. And the first of them, which is referrals. So I'm sure I'm really not going to be telling you all how to suck eggs and how important referrals are, but what I will say is that referrals are the golden goose of the salon industry. You know, you can spend a fortune on advertising, you can spend heaps of time working on social media, Facebook, Twitter, all the different new things that are coming out. But the most significant source of new clients today is still through existing clients referring friends and family. And I'm here to tell you that 80% of salon owners in the salon world are doing it wrong. And I'll tell you why they're doing it wrong a little later on. But in the meantime, I've got a question for you. And this is a time for you guys to be honest. In the question box, just answer yes if you do run a referral system in your salon. I'm going to predict that maybe 60 to 70% of people on this webinar will say yes, that they are running some form of referral system in their salon. How are we looking, Donna? Have we got some answers there?
We have. I've got a couple of yeses. I've got a no.
Right. So.
And I've got one that's not consistent.
Okay.
And then I've got another yes. Yep. So there's a few yeses.
So,
yep.
A few yeses. So what sort of percentage to the number of people on the webinar would you say, just as a random guess?
Probably 50%.
50, okay,
50,
so
maybe,
I said 60.
Sorry, 60%, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about average is to what I would expect, about 60 to 70%, 50 to 60 to 70%. So the next question is, and so be honest with yourselves and be honest with us, how many of you would say that the referral system that you are using is getting the results you want? In other words, is it working? So yes or a no. Is it working? And again, I'm going to predict that 60, maybe up to 80% would probably say it's not working as well as you would want it to.
Yeah, that's
there's
a fairly strong nose. There's one not measuring it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
pretty much it's about average for the industry, and that's to be expected. That most of the referral programs that are out there in salons aren't really working as well as you would want them to. Some people would say, oh, it's working okay, but it's certainly not working as good as it could. And the reason why is probably the important part about this, and it's pretty much because you've set a referral system up at some stage in the past and probably got quite enthusiastic about it at the time, but as time has gone on, it's been forgotten about, and it just sits on the desk, possibly, you know, the little card sits on the desk along with all the other things that sit on the desk, and gets overlooked all the time because it's not focused on. So what you want for your salon, really, when you set up a referral system, is for it to work for you every day. And the key to a good referral system is actually not the referral system itself, it's why people would use your referral system. So it's to have a salon operating where clients become raving fans and are happy to refer their friends and enthusiastically refer their friends and family to you. So what I'm suggesting is you need to make sure that not only are they getting great hairdressing or beauty services, but they're also getting great service. As I say, a great haircut and colour is key, or facial, that's key. You've got to be good at what you do. But imagine if you've done a great job on the service, the cut or the colour or the facial, and you end up going to the desk and there's a grumpy team member at the desk. That undoes everything that you've done with the great cut and colour. What you've got then is not good service. You've got a client who will go out and possibly complain to the very person that you would want them to go and refer to you. So they're complaining about the service they got because of the grumpy person rather than raving about the wonderful service they got at the salon. So the first thing in having a strong referral program is to actually have a great service and client experience system and train your team on it. And that's the focus of every meeting you have. It's about the service level. It's about the quality of what we do for our clients. What are we here for? Are we here to make them have a wow experience? So that means everything that we do is directed towards wowing them. Or are we allowing our team to be ho-hum, indifferent about the service and allowing our clients to leave being unhappy and you not delivering the level of service and experience that you maybe say on your website or maybe say in your marketing. So it's working backwards, it's not working forward. And more than anything, earning referrals is a team sport. So your whole team has to be behind that program because only one, it's the old story, one link in the chain that breaks, the whole chain's useless. So you need to sort of train the team on your delivery and of the service level that you want and your service experience that you want your clients to have. If you haven't got a service experience policy, a client service level policy, create one. What do you want to give your clients in the way of service that's going to make them want to come back time after time after time? And once you're satisfied that you've got that system working consistently, there's that word again, then develop your referral system to reward the referrers and the referees. And one big hint here, guys, don't scrimp on the reward. After all, you want to attract people to try you. You don't want to appear tight. You don't, I use an example with working with my clients to say, well, would you get out of bed for $5? And, chances are you may not, but you might get out of bed for $45. So you've got to make it worthwhile if you want someone to change a habit of going to another salon. And one other thing, remember earlier I said most were doing the referral program wrong, and I was going to tell you, well, this is why, and this is the gold in the workable referral program. So if you're taking notes, this is the important note to take. Don't run it all year long. Don't run your referral program continuously. Pick 3 or 4 months of the year and call them your referral promotion months. So for example, you might say, look, February, June, August and October are the months that we run our referral program, and that's when we ask our clients to refer friends and family to us. What that does, it creates focus and attention on the program for a short burst. So you get the momentum, you get the excitement, you get the clients out there talking, and it also creates a deadline. They know that they have to get those referrals out by the end of the month or they don't get the reward, because once the end of the month comes, you no longer are promoting referrals. It's like when you do if you ever do a promotion on colours, it's for 2 weeks and at the end of the 2 weeks it's stopped. So it's the same thing. So do it as a promotion rather than a continuous program. Now I'm just about to show you why you should focus on getting great results with your referrals. This is quite exciting. So why should you? So let's say that an average client spend in your salon is $85, and during your client referral month, you get 12 new clients. Notice I'm keeping it quite conservative. So I wanted you to see the power of this. Now, let's say out of those 12 new clients that 10 become regular visitors and they come 6 times a year. So based on $85 a client spend times 6 gives you a $5,100 per year increase in business. Now you might think, well, that's nice, but it's not groundbreaking. But this is where it gets really exciting. Because if you then do if then those clients stay for the average of 3.5 years, if you retain them, then that's $17,500, just under $18,000 over 3.5 years. And you can still say, well, that's not that exciting. It's nice. That's a new car, or it's a good deposit on a holiday. But let's look at it if you do 4 of them a year. that's $20,400 a year, or over 3.5 years, that's a chunk of change. That's $71,000. So if you have a higher average client spend in your salon and you get more than 10 per promotion, then of course your figures are going to be higher. So potentially you can go from, let's say, $50,000 over 3 years to 200 to 300 to 500 to $1 million, depending how big your salon is and can become. And you could probably base it all on referrals if you focus them and have referral promotions and not try and do it all year long. So does that make sense? Has that made it a little bit clear for you to see the potential of actually focusing? Has anyone heard of sort of not doing the referrals all the time consistently and having promotion months for referrals? I've asked about 4 questions there, so you're probably going to answer hands up, yes, no. I guess the big question is, how many people are prepared to try it?
Okay, so are we going to have hands up for that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Or yes.
Oh, I've got heaps of hands going up there. That's
okay,
great.
Cool. If I can inspire you guys to stop letting your referral program limp along and just do 4 really good solid months of referrals, then you're all going to make a heap more money. I promise. And if you want help in doing that, I know someone that can probably help you do it. But anyway, let's move along because I don't want to be running too late tonight for you guys. The next R in the 3 R's is rebooking. Now, it's Salon Business 101, and but it really is one of the most important business R's. Look, if hair grows, doesn't it? Colors grow out, facial and massage, one doesn't fix a skin problem or a muscle issue. And if you're going to the trouble of creating a program of client experience that you're training your team on, then not rebooking the client is tantamount to not caring about them. And I know a lot of salon owners are really good at rebooking, but their team, how can I say it nicely? Their team suck at it. And that's probably more of a training issue than anything. A lot of people in hairdressing and beauty therapy don't like rejection, so they don't like clients saying no to them. So rather than get a no, they resist doing something. So your job is, as the owner, is to lead by example, making sure that you have got a really good rebooking rate. And when I say really good rebooking, I'm talking upwards of 85 or more percent. And you can then go and teach your team how to do it. And if you have trouble teaching your team how to do it, there's plenty of people around that can help you with that. Go online onto YouTube and search for rebooking scripts. There's plenty around. I've got a video on YouTube that you can look at to show you what they need to say. There's lots of help available. But I guess for me tonight, in the short time I've got, is I want you to understand how important it is. So how busy you are and how busy or how often your clients come back is key to the consistent performance of your salon. All it takes to have superstar rebooking numbers is a system that links your hairdresser or beauty therapist to the service that the client is having and why they should come back to continue having that service. And the second part of that, so what I'm talking about is a story. What's the story that you're working on with your client? Where are you heading? What's the vision for your client's hairstyle? What's the vision for your client's skin? And inspire the client to need to come back to continue to achieve that end result. And the second part of this little message is make sure that you actually rebook them at the styling bay, not at the desk. Because if you're waiting to get to the desk to ask them if they'd like to come back for the next appointment, you've probably left it way too late. So get your team to talk to them at the styling bay. Say, now look, to keep the style and the tidy how we want it and to make it easy for you to manage at home, we'll need you to come back in 5 to 6 weeks. I'll sort that out at the desk for you. Is the same downtime okay? So as I said, it's a good salon rebooking rate would be 85% or higher. In fact, when I'm working with my clients, that's the minimum that I accept And I work towards that every day with the clients until we reach it. So if your salon rebooking rate is 85% or more, I can promise you that you will have a very busy salon every week of the year consistently. So as salon owners, it's your job to ensure that your team are well equipped and trained to offer every client the opportunity to come back. And that means that you must provide them with not only the reasons why, but also the tools to measure it and to be able to track it. And now clearly Katoomba, has got the tool to record whether the client's rebooked, and it's really easy to go for your team to go in and measure the results to see how they're tracking. But it's up to you to enable your team to do it consistently every time. So as a salon owner, you can say, well, my team aren't rebooking, but that your responsibility is to find a way to get them to rebook. And part of that is that doing it yourself, modeling the behavior that you want yourself, and then training your team, finding the right way to train them how to do it. And I believe an important thing that most salons don't do is actually providing a script for the team of what to say to make it a no-brainer. Now, as luck would have it, something I prepared a wee bit earlier is a script. So on the screen is an idea of a script. Now, I want to cover what scripts are and what they're not. A script is not something that you have to say word for word. A script is something that you give as a guide to an indication of what you want your team to say. So everyone's got a different personality and would say what's on the screen slightly differently. But the idea is to give them the tools to help them do the job you want them to do. So I'm going to leave that there for a few moments if you're making a note of writing that down, so that you can actually take it into the salon and have a conversation with your team about it and say, look, if you said it this way and we practice saying it this way, our rebooking rates would increase. So just while you're writing that down, and before we move on, the one phrase that I want you to all promise, if it's happening in your salon, to ban is, in the rebooking process, asking the client, would they like to make their next appointment? What that is a yes or no answer, and 9 times out of 10 it'll be a no. Because given a choice, most people will take the easy road, which is, oh no, it's all right, I'll give you a ring. So don't ask would, substitute the word would for I will. I will make your next appointment for you. Is the same day and time okay with you? So that's rebookings. My best advice here is just do it. Just do it, because if you can get to 85%, you'll have a busy salon. So the last R in the 3 R's is retention. And this is really exactly what it means. Retention means retaining clients, and there are typically a couple of measurements to retention that I look at and that I believe most salons need to look at, and that's the conversion rate of first-time customers coming back, and then the second part is existing customers coming back. So the new ones, let's talk about that for a moment. That figure is an important one for you to measure because it initially tells you what percentage of new clients are returning. And this can tell you whether or not you're impressing them with a quality service that you want. If you measure your first-time clients and find that, say, I don't know, say 29 out of 100 return, then that's quite an unimpressive number. And that means that 71 aren't coming back, and they're not impressed enough to want to come back. So you might be thinking, well, what is an impressive new client retention rate? Well, here at Shock Consult, we consider a bare minimum would be 55%. So new client retention should be 55% or more. But we actually have an expectation of our clients that 70% is the average. So I guess the question is, how do you grow your new client retention figure? And that comes back to what we talked about before, and that's having a quality service experience. Implementing a client experience program that guarantees you are giving and your team are giving your clients great service and a great experience every time for every client, which will ensure that they will want to come back. So it's not only about good hairdressing or good technique and facial massage and what have you. It's about the overall experience your client gets. So that's the key. If you've got, and I'm not assuming that any of you guys would have a bad client experience, but let's just say you have an average client experience, then you will get average results. If you want average results, then and you're getting average results, everyone's happy. But if you're wanting better results, then you have to change the way you do things now. And the client experience, creating a program that guarantees that the clients get an experience every time, guarantees a better result. So the second measure is your existing client rate, like I said, and that's fairly straightforward to figure out. But what it means is, obviously, it's the rate at which you keep your existing clients coming back. Now, let's say that your salon averages around 1,700 clients a month and 1,500 of them return within the next 3 months. You could say, well, actually, that's about an 85% retention rate, which would be awesome. And it's excellent. And it's very acceptable. But don't just rest on that. Look at it and say, well, actually, that still means that around 250, 280 clients have not returned. So being a good business salon owner, you might want to ask yourself, why haven't they returned? Maybe I should give them a call. Not all of them, but I should do a survey of them, of a number of them, and just ask 2 or 3 quick questions. You came to the salon, what was it that we did that impressed you? What was it that we could have done better that maybe didn't impress you? And what could we do next time you come in that would make you think we care enough for wanting you to come back? So, people love getting quick questions asked of service. Don't be afraid to ring them and say, to improve our service to our clients like yourself, we need to get better at what we do. So can we ask you a couple of quick questions? So your client retention rates really are a great barometer for your customer experience system, whether it's working or not, and the quality of your hairdressing or beauty therapy. Or if you haven't developed a system around client experience, it's an indication of how good you and the team are at delivering service. So I guess the message here is to monitor your retention rates. And if the numbers are below a target number that you set, or that you can take my targets if you like, then treat it as a warning system and intervene and do something about it. So some ideas for changing it is actually creating scripts, changing your phone scripts if you've got scripts that may not be working. Bear in mind that scripts aren't meant to be read word for word. They are an indication of how we do things around here and what sort of things we say to our clients. For example, if someone rings up and asks how much is it for a ladies cut and blow wave, most salons would either tell them the price and they say, oh, look, at our salon it's $85, which gives the client then a yes or no decision. Can I make an appointment, or I'll try somewhere else? Or they might say, look, we don't give the price out over the phone because we don't know anything about the hair, so we need to make a consultation appointment. And I can tell you, probably what you're thinking right now is, yeah, well, that doesn't work. Not many people actually do make those consultation appointments. But if you had a script that when someone rang and said, how much is it for a ladies cut and blow wave, and you had a script that said, your first comment is, just so I can help you best, would it be okay if I asked you a few questions? Then you are starting to take control of the phone conversation. Most clients would say, yep, that's fine. You then would ask, how long's your hair? Oh, it's past my shoulders. Are you wanting a major restyle, or are you just looking for a tidy up? Oh, I'm looking for a tidy up. Okay, is your hair thick or is it fine? Ask questions, and then, oh, it's great that you've said that you've got fine hair. That's fantastic, because we've got one of your particular suburbs, let's call it, I don't know, we've got one of Auckland's fine hair cutting specialists working in the salon. And she's got an appointment available this afternoon or tomorrow morning for a haircut. Would you like to take one of those? You can go through all that without even telling them the price. So I haven't got time tonight to talk you through a whole phone consultation using a script, but to give you an idea, that's where you can go with it. So, creating scripts. What else was there? Consultation trainings. We never stop learning. Team can always learn more about communication, consultation. I was talking with a client of mine today, and she's struggling with something that I believe every salon or most salons are struggling with, and that's getting the team to recommend home care products. So it's about looking at ways of changing what you're doing because what you're doing is not working. So how can you come up with different ways of helping them sell more products is really what we're asking. Well, there's different ways. There's two-step consultations. There's lots of new things that you may or may not have heard of or may not have tried that you can do to get your results higher. Look, I could go on for the rest of the night, which I won't do because that's what got me into trouble before where I ran late. So suffice to say, there's heaps of stuff out there that you can do to actually get client retention. Referrals and rebooking. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. So we've got the three. We've got rebooking, referrals, and retention. So looking at where we're up to, let's do the quick recap. So the referrals, they're the golden goose of the industry. Referrals are the easiest way to increase clientele, but only if you do it the right way. And that is to pick 3 or 4 months of the year. Like, you just choose. You want to do it over 3 months, January, June, and October, or do you want to do 4 months, January, June, August, and October? And promote as a promotion rather than continuous program. Gives you and your team focus, and it means it won't be forgotten about. And actually, another tip for a good referral program is not to limit it to just reducing the price, like $25 off or $45 off your first haircut with us. And what I mean by that is to have a sliding scale of rewards for an increased number of referrals that a client may send you. So, for example, if I send you 1 referral, I might get $25 off. But if I send you 2 referrals, I might get for the second referral a home care pack valued at $85. So maybe shampoo, conditioner, and a styling product. And if I send you 3 referrals, you might give me a blow waiver. And fourth, I might get a set of straighteners, a set of GHDs, because it's worth it to you to reward me bigger amounts the more referrals I give you. So who thinks that's a good idea? Just pop in the chat box whether you think the sliding scale of referrals is a good idea. I'd like to think there are some people that think it's a good idea because
absolutely.
I think it's a good idea.
We've got lots of show of hands there. That's all good.
Oh, cool. Brilliant. Well, let's move along. Rebookings came next. We talked about a target of 85%. And if you hit that consistently, guys, I promise you, and remember we use the word consistently quite a lot throughout this little session, but if you do hit 85% or more consistently, I promise you, you'll have a busy salon every week of the year. And probably quite profitable too, if your pricing's right. So any salon that really tells me that rebooking isn't important to them is a salon that'll probably at some stage be scratching their head and wondering why they're not consistently busy and they're always up and down. The first thing I look at when someone says to me, we're up and down, we're 1 week we're busy, next week we're quiet, I go straight to the rebooking history and you can predict it with what's happened in the past. And so 85%, guys, I'm saying it again so it sticks in your mind. And of course, the last thing that we talked about was retention. And that's really more about the quality of the work and the specialness of the experience for your new and existing clients. So if you haven't got a documented sort of client experience policy, maybe something to think about creating. And if you've got one, but it's not being utilized, then maybe you need to train your team on it. Maybe do some team trainings with it and explain why it's important. Why is it important to deliver exceptional service? Because one day in the next couple of months, or maybe February, we're going to ask those very clients that are coming to us to refer their friends to us, specifically that month. So we want them to want to refer clients to us. So we have to make their experience the best it can be. Oh, I think we're nearly near the end. We are. Look, next slide says questions. So I hope I've covered what I promised I'd cover. I know I've said a lot of things, and I'm sure that a lot of you have got some stuff out of it, but if you've got any questions for me, now's a good time to pop them in the question box, and I'll do my best to answer. We had a question actually earlier on the earlier webinar that asked, what's most important? Is it referrals, retention, or rebookings? And after me waffling around each one, trying to figure out which one I think would be more important, I figured out and had a chat with Donna about it, and we decided that they're actually all as important as each other, because without the three of them working in unison, you won't have the strongest salon that you can have. So, if you're thinking about asking me that question, the answer is they're all as important as each other. Have we got any other questions there, Donna, that have
Nothing
come through?
popping up just yet.
Nothing
It
popping up?
could take
Okay.
a minute or two for them to come through.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I
If they're
just thought it was a bit of a
typists like me,
delay.
it could take a while with two fingers.
Okay, any ideas on how to retain clients when a staff member leaves to work in another salon in your area?
Absolutely. Make sure that hang on, let me get my thoughts around that. Sorry, I'll back up. Absolutely, I've got some ideas. The first thing I would say is make sure that your client service experience system is working, so that you give the client the best opportunity not to want to follow the stylist, because remember, what you want to create as an owner is a salon that clients want to come to, not individual staff members in the salon that they come to. And I know that's a tricky one, but having a consistent, good, high-end client experience program where the clients are looked after from the moment they make the phone call for the appointment to a week after they've been in the appointment, and you're ringing them to make sure everything was okay and you're following up, they will feel cared about. So that's the first step. The second step is don't be afraid to write to the clients and say, hey, Sally Jane is now leaving us and she's moving onwards with her career, and we're excited and thrilled for her that it's going to happen that way, whatever, be positive about it. And offer them a little bit of insight as to why they come to your salon. Remember at X salon, we have your details on file. We have all the color recipes. We have, this and that. We also, value you with our reward system, with our client points. If you use the reward dollars program, is it reward dollars, Donna?
It's Katoomba dollars, yeah.
Yeah, Katoomba dollars. So, if you have those, that tell them, hey, you've got 45 Katoomba dollars sitting in your account. That's all customer retention stuff. And a lot of people actually do have that working in the salon, but they're not telling their clients about it, and they're not using it to the best of the way it was designed. So I guess it's a matter of being prepared for when that eventuality happens, to be able to put your system in place to retain those clients. So having a good service level to start with, having a great follow-up system where clients are getting newsletters, they're aware of their Katoomba dollars, they're getting phone calls from either the owner or the manager, just checking in, 3 quick questions. How did we do for you last time you were in? Could we have done anything more? And what can we do for you next time you're in that will make your experience better? That stuff is what will keep your clients, not, oh crap, Mary Jane's left to go up the road, I better send a letter out to my clients hoping they'll come back. You will still lose some, but you'll lose a lot less than if you're not up to play with all your other systems. Does that answer that one for you? Hope it does.
Cool, thank you. We have another question. What can I give the client so they can keep track of their referral track record?
Good question. It's what you're asking is what's a good monitoring system. Donna, I believe Katoomba has a referral tracking program. Part of the program is referral tracking. It would be a matter. The question is, what can I give the client? Can I answer that with I don't really know? It's whatever you want to give them. I would keep it simple, and probably when you get a referred client and you know that it was referred by so-and-so, I'd give them a call or send them a text and say, hey, congratulations, Sally, you referred Sally and she's just come in. There's a $25 voucher waiting for you on your next visit to the salon, or whatever the prize reward is. Keep it fairly simple, but also keep it trackable. And Katoomba again does track that sort of stuff fairly well. And you have the Magic Mail. Is it Magic Mail that does that? You can pull up clients that have been referred by certain people. Maybe you could create a templated letter to send to them when you do get a referral.
Because you can certainly send off an email to them, yes.
Yeah, so there's lots of different ways. It's just a matter of picking one that works for you and do it consistently. Create a system around it and say this is how we notify and reward our referees or referrers or both.
Cool. Okay, I'll just check and see if there's any more questions there.
Just while people are thinking about it, I'll do some shameless plugging for
no worries
for me. Look, I know that sometimes after we all hang up and you go back and sit down in the chair, you think, oh, damn, I wanted to ask him that, or I should have asked this. I'm more than happy if you would like to email me. My email address is on the screen there. Any questions that have come out of tonight, if you think of something a bit later, flick me an email, and I won't promise you it'll be an instant response, but I'll get back to you within a sort of 24, 48 hours with an answer or my idea on the answer for your question.
Great. That's all the questions we have for tonight.
That's it?
Malcolm.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that. That was
all right. You're more than welcome. How'd we go for time? Still a little bit over.
A little bit over, but that's all good. It's always good when we get some questions at the end of the session. Thank you very much. For those of you who are listening, we will be sending out a recording of the webinar for you probably by the end of tomorrow. But just in case, if you wanted to pop back in and join us again, if you've missed a bit, we will be running the same webinar tomorrow at 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. So you're more than welcome to join. You just need to pop into the Katoomba website and register there. Or if you've got a friend that you think might benefit from it, then please feel free to share the news. And again, they just need to register. Okay, and I've just got a couple here saying, thanks very much, Malcolm. It was really helpful.
Oh, you're welcome, and I'm glad I was helpful. I wish you luck in implementing what we've talked about.
Okay. Thank you very much. So everybody, thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of the evening, and hopefully we'll catch up again next week.
Okay, thanks Donna, and thanks team.